Hawkins is a right defensive end, and it looked like Wallace had him, and then he just let him go. If you look, here's Wallace right here. Here's Young. He starts boom, boom, boom. Everything's good, and then he just lets him go, and he gets to Steve Young. You see, Wallace starts out there. Now he has him. Oh, and he got his feet in bad position. When he did that, he overstrided. He got that wide base, and boom, Hawkins just went right around him.
So it brings up third down for the first time for San Francisco. They need 2. Outside Rathman. And he'll have the first down. That's something the 49ers are doing more of since the heyday of Rathman and Craig, getting the ball to those backs.
Well, you know, it was interesting. At one time, they used to throw to Rathman and Craig all the time, and then everyone started taking those short drops to take away Rathman and Craig. So then other stuff came open. The wide receivers came open more, and the tight end. So then they start worrying about the wide receivers and the tight end, and now the running backs, Rathman and Waters, are open again in this year.
First down, 49ers at about the 39-yard line of the Rams. This is Waters. He wears number 32. He says his hero when he was growing up was Jim Brown. And that's some pretty high sights.
You know, an interesting thing, you don't see this. This guy right here is Jerry Rice. Now, you know, they try and put Rice different places. In other words, they'll put him on the line of scrimmage, they'll put him in motion. That's one of the first times I've ever seen him line up in the backfield. Now, he's difficult to cover, but if you have to find him and then cover, that just adds a difficulty to him. Someplace in this game, they'll come up with a pass out of that.
That was Janey Williams in motion, and this is Young looking for a place to go. A flag on the play, and Young still runs. And gets away from 5 or 6. He's still on his feet, still scrambling. Lost the football. The 49ers will have it back, but there's a penalty marker down. Jesse Sapolo made the recovery, but the flag was thrown about 5 minutes ago.
And look at how tired all the players are. It looked like Steve Young just ran out of gas. Half the Rams were still down on one knee. The offensive linemen are tired, charging the defensive linemen. The defensive linemen are tired from chasing Steve Young.
Holding. Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Second down.
62, of course, is the left guard, Guy McIntyre. But watch this. This is at normal speed now. This isn't slow motion. But the defense has to chase Steve Young. That's some speed chasing him, too. The offensive linemen have to chase the defensive linemen. And at the end of this play, I'll guarantee you there were about 18 tired guys out there.
That play took 15 seconds. Now, if anybody can, it would be a good time to go deep. Instead, he gets it to Rathman, who breaks one tackle. That's Brent Jones, I beg your pardon. The tight end, stopped by Anthony Newman.
And you have to be impressed with the start of this. He's thrown the ball early. He's hit Jerry Rice. Then when he goes to his other receiver, Mike Sherrard, he goes to Rathman, his back, and boom, he comes to his tight end, Brent Jones now. This is the thing about the 49er offense. They don't let you just key in or stop one area or one guy.
Young is 5 out of 6 to 5 different receivers. Keep everybody happy. Odessa Turner this time goes in motion. Now he comes back this way, and Young goes back to throw. Hit from behind by Kevin Green around Harris Barton.
Here we saw Bill Hawkins run around Steve Wallace. The other side it happens now. Here's Harris Barton. He's a right tackle here. And we're going to see Kevin Green just runs right around him. These are two good tackles. Barton on the right side, Wallace on the left side. But they have to be able to handle that. That wasn't much of a move or anything. He just ran right around him, dipped that right shoulder a little, and boom, he was right by him.
Just ducked under him. Wilmsmeyer back to punt. To Vernon Turner. Not going to handle it. And the ball's going to roll dead inside the 5. The 49ers surrounded at about the 3. So the Rams on their first offensive possession will start deep in their own territory. Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Jim Everett, the quarterback for the Rams. In front of him, Perry, Newberry, Brostick, Milinchek, Slater, and Pat Carter at tight end. Cleveland Gary will do most of the ball carrying. Del Pino with him in the backfield. Anderson and Ellard. Could be Jeff Chadwick starting. And that's Chadwick in motion. The handoff is to Gary. And Gary pounds out to about the 8. Stopped by Pierce Hope. He'll be up front along with Michael Carter and Kevin Fagan as they open with a 3-man front. The 4 linebackers, Romanowski, Walter, and DeLong, the 2 inside, and Harris outside. Griffin and Davis, the cornerbacks. Their number 1 draft choice, Dana Hall and David Whitmore, the 2 deep men. Gary got 5. Again, it's Cleveland Gary. To about the 11. And this is one of the things that Chuck Knox said we have to do. Run it. And if we only get 3, run it again.
Well, yeah, and he talked about not only running it, but running it early. And, you know, I think one of the things he wants to do when you run it early, obviously, you have to get first down. And then he would like to take time off the clock, 1, to keep his defense off the field. And as he does that, that also keeps the 49er offense off the field.
3rd and 2, and Everett is back in the spread formation now. And hit at about the 4 and down by Pierce Hope.
There is one intense player. I don't know how you measure intensity, but if you could put it on some kind of scale or something, I'll guarantee you that guy would be right at the top of the intensity level, Pierce Hope.
If you had a job you wanted done, he's a guy you ought to hire.
Hey, he's one of the strongest, toughest guys that play in this league.
So the Rams will have to punt. Don Bracken back deep. Grant back deep for the 49ers. Bracken standing right at the end of the end zone. Fair. Not fair caught, fair kick. And the 49ers will stop in good shape. Kevin Green, number 91, down to make the stop on the punt coverage, and he, of course, will stay in to play defense. Kevin Green, one of those guys searching for a spot in this Ram defense in the whole scheme. Not necessarily happy with his role.
Because there's no place for him to play, Pat. And, you know, what Kevin Green is he's an open side linebacker on a 3-man line. So when he made the Pro Bowl and all those teams, when he was a great player, was when they played a 3-man line and he could play left outside linebacker. Now he's playing down there in their inside linebacker in a 4-man line.
It just doesn't give him the freedom that he needs, but this is a guy who really opened some daylight for the 49ers in their running attack. Ricky Waters stopped by Pfeiffer.
You know, he said when he was growing up, Tony Dorsett was the guy that he used to try and emulate. And he said he learned all of Dorsett's moves, and then he'd go out and try them in the streets. And he said one move that he learned from Tony Dorsett is a spin move. When you go to get hit, boom, you make a spin on a guy. He said he stopped using it, and his dad said, hey, don't forget to use that spin move.
Put it back in your arsenal.
He said he got it back in the arsenal now.
He gets the carry again, and room again is Ricky Waters. Down at about the 17. The ball came loose. The Rams' Henley picked it up, but he was down. 13-yard gain by Ricky Waters.
Yeah, not only is Waters a good runner, but the 49ers have good pulling guards. You watch Guy McIntyre there. He leads, and not only do they get out in front of the running back, but they always make contact and find a guy to hit. And I'll tell you, if you have blocking at the point of contact, then good pulling guards, those are two friends of a running back.
First and 10, 49ers at about the Rams 16. 0-0 score. Eddie Waters again. Looking for room, finds a little. Right now, let's send you back to New York for an NFL update. Greg Gumbel.
All right, Pat, at Sun Devil Stadium, the Redskins are on the board first from 19 yards out. Mark Rippon to Ricky Sanders. And with the extra point, Washington leads the Phoenix Cardinals 7-0 in the first, Pat.
Back at Candlestick, no score here. 4:18, now 4:15 left in the first quarter. First down, 49ers at the Ram 13. Just inside, 2nd and 7. Waters around the corner, blocker in front. Again, one of those pulling guards, McIntyre, leading Waters.
Yeah, I think, we talked about the thing. You have to have blocking at the point of attack. Then you have to have the guard. The other thing is a wide receiver. Now watch Jerry Rice. If you're going to run a sweep and get a big gain, your ends have to be able to make a block. In other words, just get a bump out there. But watch 62 here, Guy McIntyre. He leads the thing, and he always finds someone, and then boom, always knocks him out of the way. And that's a block that gives you 3 or 4 more yards.
Waters 6 carries for 39 yards. First and goal. Waters again. Touchdown, San Francisco. And the 49ers break on top. Waters from 3 yards out.
If you want to learn offensive football, you can go to school on this San Francisco 49er group.
John, you grew up in this area. It seems to me, as long as I can remember, we've both been around this game a long time. The 49ers have always had a lot of offensive weapons.
And quarterbacks all the way back. I remember Frankie Albert.
So do I. And Y.A., of course. Y.A. Tittle. Brody. It's like a Hall of Fame right here in Candlestick Park. Touchdown, Waters.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. Little Caesars Pizza, where you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price. And by HP LaserJet printers. If it isn't a LaserJet, it's only a laser printer.
The 49ers kick off, leading 7-0. Koper's kick will be handled by Vernon Turner. At the 20. Darren Jordan down to make the stop. There's Ricky Waters, who just scored the touchdown. Koper's extra point made it 7-0. 3:19 left to play in the first quarter. 49ers leading 7-0. Miami 37-10 over Buffalo. Not surprising they won, but that they won that big. Vikings improved to 4-1. Came back to beat the Bears, who led 20-0 at one time. Total yards, 91-0.
I'll tell you who's surprised that Buffalo scored. It may be this 49er team.
That's right.
The only loss they had. Neither team punted in that game.
Cleveland Gary bounces outside for a gain of 8. Stopped by Darren Jordan.
Cleveland Gary kept talking last night about being able to relax, about being able to focus, and it's sometimes players don't want to use up all their energy before a game and getting ready for a game, and then they darn near hyperventilate when it starts. And of course, Cleveland Gary's had trouble fumbling and those things over the years, and he feels that by relaxing more, he's going to have fewer problems.
Everett to Gary. Won't get much. Not a first down.
Oh, Romanowski getting it in there a little. You see old Romo,
Oh,
he
yeah.
just comes in there and grabbed a face mask there. I'll tell you, it all starts here in the nose tackle. Watch Michael Carter here. Big Brostick blocking him here. This is where it all starts. If you don't get that nose tackle controlled, you're not going to go anywhere. Now watch Carter. Boom, you get those hands up right now. Pop, you get those hands up. Keep control. Get that center going back. I'll guarantee you there's no inside running when the nose tackle plays like that.
When he gets his hand underneath and straightens that blocker up. That's Gary. And a flag on the play late. Keith DeLong made the stop. I think he had the first down.
You know, and that blocker is Bern Brostick. You know, he's
a late holding call against the Rams.
But Brostick is a big guy, number 61 there. He was a center, and they moved him to guard and then back to center. He weighs over 300 pounds. Michael Carter had to get himself down to around 300.
Holding. Offense. Number 82. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Third down.
That's some real meat when you got it going on in there.
I'll tell you.
That Brostick and Carter going after it. You know, the thing is, he wears a towel there. I've never understood. I always hated that. I was a center for a while, and I never wanted the quarterback to ever put a towel on me. See, the quarterback does it to get his hands dry. Then in the shotgun, you got to watch out because there's no one to pull the towel up.
Here's Everett. Up the middle, complete. Aaron Cox gets him out of the hole. Stopped by Dana Hall.
Yeah, it was interesting that Chuck Knox said last night, we asked him about Aaron Cox, who was the third wide receiver, and he says, he said, we have to get the ball to Cox more. I think they've been, trying to get it to Flipper Anderson and to Henry Ellard and kind of forgot about Cox. And he said, that's one thing that we have to do is start getting him in the game more and then getting him the ball.
Chuck Knox was saying, in practice, we've been dropping the ball so regularly in the game and in practice. Outside Gary. Steps out of one tackle, out of bounds at the 47. Romanowski. 2-yard gain.
You talk about a pad. Cleveland Gary has an all-pro pad on that left shin. I have no idea what that is. I mean, that's like a shin protector.
He must have an early flight.
Yeah, he must either have been kicked there or doesn't want to get kicked there.
Or have his luggage in there.
Or doesn't have real big legs and wants the 49ers to think he's a big old-legged guy.
Whatever it is, if that's the case, he's got it on the wrong side. Cleveland Gary. Banged by Romanowski after he picked up a yard.
Yeah, and Kevin Fagan was in there. And, you talk about two intense guys, these two ends of the 49ers, Fagan and Holt. They run at high octane all day, don't they?
They really do. That's the end of the first quarter with the score. San Francisco 7, the Los Angeles Rams nothing. Back at Candlestick Park, Joe Montana alongside Steve Bono. Been frustrating times for Joe Montana.
He's on injured reserve, and he thought that he was going to come off injured reserve, and the 49ers didn't take him off, so he can't practice with the team, and he hasn't been around, and it's a very frustrating time for Joe Montana.
Everett takes off, but there's a flag on the play. Everett out of bounds at about the 35. Montana does go to the practice facility for treatment and therapy, but he can't stay there and work out, as you say, with the team, and that's frustrating for him.
Yeah, and then he knows that he's getting no closer to being able to play in a game, even though you talked to him before the game, and he said that he wasn't sure that he was ready anyway.
Right.
Holding. Offense. Number 71. 10-yard. Repeat the down. Third down.
I tell you, the guy that they call it on is right here, the right guard. But you talk about a window. The 49ers really opened a window here in the left. You see, they call the holding right up there. But look at this window that Everett sees right here. The 49ers said they're just going to rush Everett today and try and knock him down. They're going to run games. They're not going to worry about staying in the lanes. In fact, they will give him lanes to run in, and they don't think he can hurt him running.
Third down. Everett again steps up into the pocket, gets it across to Vernon Turner. And Turner gets back most of the penalty yardage. Romanowski and Griffin made the stop, pickup of 16.
Now, one thing, this is going to give the Rams a little confidence. So they came into this game without a lot of confidence, but one thing, they're able to handle the pass rush. And I think Jim Everett feels good about that because they're not knocking him down or knocking him around or sacking him. He has time to throw thus far.
Grant back deep for San Francisco. Bracken will punt for the Rams. Handled at the 10. Up to the 14. Blair Bush down to make the stop. 49ers lead 7-0, and that continues. Jackie Slater, 17 years. And that's not as a kicker or a snapper or whatever else. That's as an active player. And that's some accomplishment.
Right, and not only an active player, but an active tackle, and not only an active tackle, but one of the best active tackles in the game.
Here's Young to throw. Waters out of the backfield, the receiver. Anthony Newman made the stop, first down, San Francisco. The Rams still, this year, yet to score in the first quarter.
Yeah, we were talking before about how receivers catch a ball now, and then after they catch it, whether they're running backs or receivers, they really pay for it. I mean, these hits in the open field are really getting to be something, because there's not just one guy making a tackle. I mean, there's boom, boom, boom. They're using that helmet's going in there. I'll tell you, parts are flying all over now on receivers after they catch the ball.
Boy. Waters took about 3 hits. Here he is with the ball again. Kevin Green made the stop. He had a pretty good alley. Got 5 yards. Looked like it might be a lot more.
Well, this time he leaves his guard. You see Roy Foster's number 67. He should get in his back pocket. See, right here is Foster, and here's Waters. He should get right in behind him. Foster comes this way. Waters cuts back against him. So you want to stay with that guy if you can. When you leave your pulling guard, then you're going back against the grain, and you better hope that the defense over pursue.
He also had McIntyre in front of him. He left them both. Waters stopped. He's handled the ball on 8 straight plays.
I tell you what happened on that play. Gerald Robinson, number 97, the left defensive end, got penetration, and he ended up about 4 yards in the backfield. And then that just kind of knocked everything down. When any of those front defensive linemen get 4 yards into your backfield to the side you're running to, your chances of having a successful play are about 0.
Especially if you rely as much as the 49ers do on those 2 pulling guards. Third down. Young quickly outside, incomplete, intended for Brent Jones. Sammy Lilly was with Brent Jones.
Yeah, let's watch Steve Wallace here, the left tackle right here. I always thought that he's one of the best pass protecting tackles in the league. I mean, he does a lot of things. I mean, you got to get your hands in there, and you got to get him on the shoulder, up in the helmet, whatever. That time he just took a big slide backwards. He's upset because you know what, he knows that he didn't have his feet planted, and the tackle doesn't like to get pushed around.
Wilmsmeyer back to punt it. Handled by Vernon Turner. Turner gets back to about the 24, stopped by Rathman. 39-yard punt, 5-yard return. 49ers still lead 7-0.
This game summary is sponsored by Coors Light.
Steve Young, 6 out of 8, 66 yards. Total yards, the 49ers have 120, the Rams 54. The Rams still have not scored in the first quarter this year. The 49ers lead it 7-0. Ram ball at their own 24. The word on Cleveland Gary, by the way, that he was kicked in the shin last week, and that's why that protection. This is Robert Del Pino, the runner, instead of Gary, and he got 3 yards.
Well, Del Pino's in there as a single back. The Rams went to 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and just 1 back in there. That's probably to spread out that 49er defense a little. When you have 2 backs in there, then they can bring another linebacker to the inside.
Second and 8. Del Pino got 2. Again, the same situation with 3 wide receivers. Everett back in the pocket, has a man open. It's Jim Price, who they liken to Pete Holohan, playing today with a harness on his right arm underneath those pads. Much less cumbersome than the old style harness. You can't raise your arm above shoulder level.
Yeah, so that means that what happens is the quarterback always better throw you something that you don't have to stretch out for. When you have a bad shoulder and you have to keep those arms down below and those hands down below your shoulders.
First down is Gary and Del Pino behind Everett, and he will throw it. And he has a man, Pat Carter, wide open. And Carter gets into 49er territory, stopped by Dana Hall. 26 yards the Rams got on that pass completion.
Now they had Jim Price in there, the receiver guy, and then they go in and they put Pat Carter in there. Now he's their blocking guy, and they just throw to him straight up the middle. But the thing that impresses me here is the pass protection that the Rams have given to Jim Everett thus far. Watch this. They're trying to run those stunts up the middle. Boom. They just pack everything in up there, and they're not letting anyone get to Everett to knock him down.
First and 10 Rams at the 49er 38-yard line. Jim Everett. Del Pino straight ahead. Stopped by Tim Harris. He's playing with a bad thumb.
Yeah, it's a thumb that he had surgery on. You look at that right thumb there, and he tore a ligament in it. And they had to go in this week and sew the ligament back together. And he said, yeah, it still hurts him. He said, you can't use it. You can't grab with that hand. And he said when he has his hand down, it throbs. And it's tough to play in this league when all your parts are working, but it's really tough when you only got one hand.
Especially for a guy like him who uses his hands so much. Everett to Carter again. About the 31. Stopped again by Hall and Whitmore.
And it's also tough when you're going against like that one on a pass protection against Jackie Slater. Jackie Slater, as you said, Pat, earlier, 17 years in the league, and he never gives you the same type of set. Jackie Slater will never let you get in a rhythm as to how he's going to block you. He'll take you short, he'll take you deep. He'll cut you. He'll fake cut you and then go back. Jackie Slater has every move that any tackle has ever had in this league.
And he was telling us yesterday, hey, I'm still having a good time playing. We asked him about quitting. He said, I have no thoughts about it.
And a 2-year contract.
Everett, pass complete to Henry Ellard. Out of bounds at about the 20. Maybe outside the 20. Merton Hanks made the stop. Everett's pass complete.
Yeah, one thing that George Seifert was worried about yesterday is Jim Everett coming back to life. He said, we played this guy so many years, and where he has really hurt us. I mean, throw into Ellard, throw into Flipper Anderson. He said they've been dormant for a while, and he said the nightmare you have is that Jim Everett's going to just go boom and snap out of it. And you look at those numbers, he may be going boom and snapping out of something.
Del Pino is the lone setback behind the quarterback Everett. First and 10 Rams, and Everett will throw again. Finds a man, Jim Price, this time at about the 49er 15. Keith DeLong was the nearest defender. 6-yard gain.
Yeah, the big thing that I've seen so far here is that Everett has time. And you look here, if he has time, now he can look around for receivers. You see him, he looked to the right, he couldn't find anything. He looked to the left and came back to the middle. Really, Price catches that ball, but he was Jim Everett's third receiver or third read.
And that, to me, would show that Everett's getting a little bit more comfortable.
And that he has very, very good pass protection.
The handoff is to Gary. Inside the 15 to about the 13. Mike Walter made the stop. Pierce Hope getting a little breather over on the sideline.
Well, one thing they want to do is they want to keep their defensive line fresh, so they always bring guys in and out and try and keep them fresh. They lost Larry Roberts, and they just signed Garen Barris there. He was one of those 4 guys that became a free agent from the New England Patriots. Of course, Keith Jackson being the big one who went to Miami. But another one of those 4 is that guy right there, Garen Barris, who came to the 49ers.
And certainly filled the need. Timeout, Rams. 3rd and short. The Rams on the move. When we come back, the 49ers lead it 7-0. Pat Summerall with John Madden at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. A beautiful day, but hot down on the field. 3rd and short, Rams. Gary and Del Pino. 49ers showed a blitz. They give the ball to Del Pino. Second effort got the first down.
Hey, you talk about an all-out blitz. The 49ers had all 11 guys up in the line of scrimmage. They had one cover guy outside, but they had 10 guys in the box. And you talk about it. Defense you're not supposed to be able to run against. Look at this. Boom, the old split 6 blitz. You got the 2 blitzers coming straight up the middle. No one blocks DeLong, but he misses the tackle.
He had a clear shot at him. First down, Rams. They can get another one without scoring. 1st and 10. Here comes another blitz. Everett quickly released to Carter. Touchdown, Rams. Whitmore was dragged into the end zone by Carter.
And I'll tell you, that was a heck of a read by Jim Everett. Dana Hall was a free safety. Dana Hall came on the blitz, and he came unblocked straight up the middle. Now, Jim Everett has been criticized for not standing in there. But I'll tell you, he stood in there on this one. Watch Hall. 28, he comes up, boom, he doesn't get blocked, and just goes flip, and just flips that thing in there in the end zone to Pat Carter. That's a good read, because he has to do that. If he holds it a second more, Everett has to take a sack.
9 of 9 is Everett. Touchdown to Carter, who's not supposed to be able to catch it. Zendejas ties the game at 7. 10 plays, 77 yards. The Rams went. And the touchdown to Carter. Good effort by Carter and by Everett. Tie score.
Yeah, Jim Everett was perfect on this one, Pat, because they have a safety blitz. Dana Hall is going to be free. Everett had to throw it at that moment, and Pat Carter had to come open at that moment. But Everett really watched that thing and sat in there. Now, here's where he sees Dana Hall back there when he's up there. Now he's going to sneak up and hit that blitz. You see him come down. Now they can't count him. Then if you can't count them, you can't block them. So if you don't block them, you better get rid of it.
Mark Logan takes the kickoff from 3. Breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2. Almost broke 3 and free. Steve Israel finally tripped him up. 31-yard return. The Rams scoring drive, 10 plays, 77 yards. They kept the ball 6 minutes and 1 second. That's what they thought they had to do.
You know, and the thing that surprised me, we see Dana Hall there. He was the guy that came free on that blitz. But as the Rams got closer to the goal line, the 49ers got a little desperate because their pass rush wasn't getting there with their linemen. Then they had to include their linebackers. Then they started including their defensive backs. So I think the fact that they had to blitz showed that they didn't think their line could get there.
Young from behind. This time he can't scramble out of it. Hawkins came around the corner.
And I'll tell you, that's the second time that Bill Hawkins came around the corner on Steve Young. You watch him, he just beat him the same way. I mean, here's Steve Wallace right here. Here's Hawkins here. He just runs right around him to Young back here. But that's the second time that Steve Wallace has been beaten by Hawkins. You see, he just steps up a little too much, and he gives Hawkins that outside shoulder.
It was almost like Hawkins had the snap count.
He did, or Steve Wallace didn't have it.
Right.
I think where Wallace made the mistake, instead of going back a little, he stepped up. And as he was stepping up, Hawkins was going right by him.
The handoff is to Waters. Blocker in front. Waters down at about the 36 by Israel and Stewart. 4-yard gain. That was interesting on that business of the snap count, what Steve Wallace was saying to us yesterday. Just starting to hear it.
Yeah, well, they thought that he, had bad hearing in one ear, in the left ear. And he said that his hearing got better. Then he found out it wasn't his hearing. He never concentrated. He never even listened in the huddle to the snap count.
It's amazing a guy can play, as you said yesterday, at a major college, Auburn, and then play in the pros as long as he has and not be aware of the snap count.
Because you know what happens? The formation is the first thing you call. Then the play is the second thing you call. The snap count's the third. So he stopped thinking after the play. Started thinking about the play and didn't even think about the snap count.
This is a 49er timeout. 7-7 score. The battles of October begin Tuesday night when last year's division winners, the Pirates and the Atlanta Braves, meet once again to determine the National League champions. Coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern Time. Then on Wednesday evening, the American League Championship Series starts. The Oakland Athletics battle the Toronto Blue Jays beginning at 8 Eastern. The battles of October this week right here on CBS. 3rd and 9. Odessa Turner wide left. Young to throw. To Sherrard. He paid the price. Hit by Newman, but he hung on.
Good pass protection that time. That's the way it started. See, you see Kevin Green on passing downs. He's at the left of the screen there against Harris Barton. He does rush on passing down. Harris Barton did a nice job of blocking him. And I'll tell you, Steve Young threw that one in there. Steve Young just looks and feels so much more confident than he did a year ago.
He really does. Even the way he walks. He just seems to be the commander. This is Rathman. To about the 30. Bounced to the 29. Got 10 yards. Kevin Green tripped him up.
Yeah, you're going to see the tackle pull here. Let's get this on the clicker and see if we can see this offensive line, the offside. You see both the guard and tackle. That's a counter play. You see him here from this offside. They both pull. Rathman a little slower, gives him time to get in there behind him. Gets right in behind. Now he should run right in behind Wallace here. If he didn't get that Kevin Green slow up there, he could have caught Wallace, and that would have been a big, big gain.
It's a first down. Waters. And then the pile moves down to about the 26. Boutte, another rookie in the Ram defense, made the stop. 2 minutes left to play in the first half at Candlestick Park. The score tied at 7 between the Rams and the 49ers. A beautiful Indian summer day in San Francisco. Good time for outdoor cooking.
Italian Niners.
Good looking stuff there.
I'll tell you, that's not bad. Last week in Chicago, we had a great spread. You wonder what you're going to get here in San Francisco. This looks like a pretty good load.
Ram.
I'll tell you, but now that was the good stuff. I mean, that's a big old meat. Then you got some guys have a banana, some guys have some seeds and stuff like that. So you never know what you're going to get in a pregame meal. But I like the big old meats and stuff. I like the sausages and stuff they have back in Chicago and Green Bay.
Those guys eating the bananas didn't appear to know how to have a good time.
No. That guy eating the seeds.
Kevin Green and Larry Kelm stopped Rathman after a pickup of 12.
And the 49ers are getting back to that good mixture of, hitting the backs and the ends and You would think down here somewhere, and I know that Steve Young wants to do it, and I know Jerry Rice wants to do it, but Jerry Rice only has 1 touchdown this year. And of course, he's one of the big scorers in this league. I would bet somewhere here they try and get the ball to Jerry Rice.
Young back to throw it, looking to Rathman. At the 10, he falls to the 9, gain 4. Flag on the play. The Rams saying we recovered. I don't think that'll happen.
Old Woody, Tom Rathman. Call him Woody from Cheers. He looks like Woody. He looks like a lot of things. Like an old-time football player.
Personal foul. Offense number 61. 15-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
I tell you, this is tough. I mean, here's Young here, quarterback. He's looking at the defense. Look at this old big defender. That's the only thing he sees is right back there. How'd you like to get up there? You're a pro quarterback. You're playing a big game. You're looking, you're giving a snap count, and you're staring that thing in the face.
You can only hope he's a teammate.
Yeah.
Penalty pushes the 49ers back to the 25-yard line. It's still first down.
It was against their center, Jesse Sapula.
Rathman lined up in the slot right. Young back to throw it. Pass complete to Jerry Rice. Wrestled down by Sammy Lilly.
Rice will end up, both sides here. He starts like he's running an in. He really sells that good. And this is an option. He starts like he's running an in or slant, stops, and pivots out. Now that's going to be taken away from him because there's another flag on the play. And that reception's going to be taken away from him. But you knew somewhere.
Offense number 80. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Motion against Rice.
No, they called a couple of those things on him in New York. And, after I saw the film, they were wrong because he gets off right with everyone else.
I think that's why he gets called.
I know.
He's so
Here
quick.
he is right here. And let's just see, when the ball snapped, you know what I think? I think he gets off the same time the ball snapped.
But he gets downfield so quickly, it looks like he's offside.
I know,
in motion.
and I know it happened to him in New York. Watch, what you have to watch is here, then you have to watch right in here at the ball. And you have to see if he leaves first. Watch when the ball moves. When that ball moves, he can leave. And it looks like it's simultaneous to me. Sometimes you can be penalized for being perfect. And I think that's what Jerry Rice is doing. He's saying, hey, when that ball was snapped, I left right then. The official's saying, no, you left early.
Well, that's one of the prices, I think, of being hit like he gets hit and has been this year. And being watched. Your reputation of being great sometimes hurts you. You look at some of the other final scores. Minnesota came from 20-0 down to beat the Bears. Indianapolis over Tampa Bay. New Orleans beat Detroit. Boy, they're having a tough time. Atlanta over Green Bay.
I think, as you say, the biggest surprise here has to be Miami beating Buffalo in Buffalo. I know a lot of people thought, including myself, that Buffalo right now could be the best team in the NFL.
2nd and 11. Rams don't blitz. Young for Brett Jones, incomplete. Bounced off the goalpost. Bailey deflected it.
Hey, Bailey almost had an interception. He makes a good read on that. You see, and he gets in position between Steve Young and his receiver, Brent Jones, and he tips the ball up in the air. Now, when the ball hits the goalpost, then that makes it dead. So you can't play a ball off a goalpost.
54 seconds left to play in the first half at Candlestick Park. 3rd and 11. Tie score 7-7. Young to throw. Rice puts his way down for a gain of 7. Anthony Newman made the stop.
Hey, good defense by the Rams. The 49ers looked like they were going to go for the field goal here, but by stopping this and not letting him make a good tackle here, you see Rice should have gotten upfield now. He should have made more yardage so that he catch that third down pass. It has to be a first down, because if he doesn't, then they either have to go for it on fourth down or kick the field goal.
They're going to let the clock run down as much as they can, then probably take their last timeout. Down to 10 seconds now.
I think they let the Rams off the hook there, because the Rams are going to go in here at halftime down 10-7 if this kick is good, and they're going to feel pretty confident.
Kofer's had some problems. 6 out of 10 in his field goal attempts on the year. This one from 26 yards.
You know, the interesting thing about it, though, Pat, is had they not called Jerry Rice offsides or illegal motion, then that would have given them enough yardage to have that first down. That because of that penalty, that was what they're short of a first down and makes them have to kick this. You know, if you look on this catch here where Jerry Rice caught the ball, look, the ball is back here. He's going this way, so it's harder to turn and then get started and go in the other way. Remember how Joe Montana used to throw it? He would throw it right into Rice where he didn't even have to break stride. And maybe just because he had to break stride there, that could have been the reason the Rams got there.
Kofer from 26 yards away. Is good. And that's the end of the first half. The end of the first half with the score, the 49ers 10 and the Los Angeles Rams 7.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Payne Weber, we believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by UPS, offering 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery. Cadillac, changing the way you think about American automobiles. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil.
Back at Candlestick Park, a rather surprising, in the eyes of many, halftime score of 10-7. The 49ers over the Rams. Here are the halftime statistics.
Well, you know, you see the pass yards. The Rams have passed for 105 yards. The 49ers 101. I think the big thing is no turnovers, and that's probably what makes it as close as it is. Jim Everett has been outstanding. He was 9 for 9 for 113 yards and a touchdown, and the problem is the Rams just haven't had the ball enough, but when they've had it, they've been very effective.
And they played very effectively on defense as well. And to quote Chuck Knox again, we hope our offense can do well against the 49ers to give our defense a rest.
And then you saw Jerry Rice there, and I still think that when you have a threat like Jerry Rice, you have to get him the ball. Of course, then the other shot was Joe Montana, the guy who used to always get the ball to Jerry Rice. Yeah, who said Montana can't throw? If you can't throw it right-handed, if it's not working out, you just throw it left-handed. You throw it left-hand sideways underneath.
I was talking to Joe before the game. He was talking about his arm and about the situation, but also a lot about golf. He's really into it. Speaking of really into it, Kofer's kick deep into the end zone, handled by Kitchen. And the Rams take over.
You know, and that's a pretty good indicator that a guy's career is getting towards the end. I've noticed that in life. When they start talking about playing golf, they usually think their career is coming to an end. I'm not saying that Joe Montana will never play again, but I think he's on that side of his career, the golf side.
Well, it's not a bad side.
No, and I'm saying that out of respect. I mean, he was the greatest.
Everett gives the ball to Gary. Cleveland Gary stopped and tripped up by Pierce Hope, but a gain of 8 yards.
Yeah, we talk about you have to get the nose tackle. Now watch this time. Bernd Brostek going on Michael Carter. You see, Carter was just taking the outside, so he jumps around. He gets a little help from his right guard. They get him to the ground. Now, when you can get the nose tackle moving back a little, sideways a little, and on the ground, then you're going to be able to get 6 or 7 or 8 yards like that.
Second and short. 2 yards for first down. Everett, an audible. An easy one. A little bit shy of the first down, however. Harris and Carter.
Yeah, if we look at Joe Montana's elbow, the one that's in question, you can see here's where the operation was, right up that scar there. And again, he came back and threw, and then it bothered him, and he had another little surgery and so on. And it's just kind of been, you know, as George Seibert says, he takes a couple steps forward and a couple steps backward.
3rd and 1. Del Pino in front of Cleveland Gary. Pitches back to Del Pino. And Del Pino will have the Ram first down. Del Pino was the deep back. Don Griffin made the stop.
And Del Pino was a halfback or tailback and kind of a pass receiving back and a lot of things. But as we were telling Chuck Knox yesterday, it seems like every time that over the years that we've done a Ram game, Robert Del Pino has had a big game. We've had him have big games as a runner. We've had him have great big games as a pass receiver.
Oh, yeah.
A couple times it seemed like he single-handedly beat the New York Giants.
He's the lone back. As Everett goes back to throw it. As Jim Price open for the reception. A gain of 6. Keith DeLong wrapped him up.
Hey, Everett's not doing bad here. I mean, no. He's perfect, and you're in the 3rd quarter already. And again, I think his offensive line gets a lot of credit for that, and the fact that he's moving it around. You look, he's been 3 for 3 to his outside receivers, 6 for 6 to his tight end, and 1 for 1 to his running back. So he's probably going to his tight end today more than you would expect.
That may be surprise the 49er defense a little bit. Not many people do that. Not anymore. Here's Everett. Del Pino. That won't get it done. Tim Harris will be on the bottom of the pile. Harris might be hurt, and Del Pino might be hurt.
It looked like they could have been connected there. Hey, Del Pino spent too much time in his own backfield, didn't get the ball turned up. There was a collision. Del Pino's number 39. Harris is right there, number 92. You see, he goes up, over.
I got no.
Del Pino is reaching for his left hamstring.
And I'm not sure about Harris. They're both still down. Back at Candlestick Park, 3rd quarter, 10-7 San Francisco. 2 injuries on the play. 1 to Harris, 1 to the ball carrier, Del Pino.
You know, I don't know that Harris's didn't happen in the air. Watch his right knee as it turns right there, just the way it twisted right there. I think that's where he hurt it because they were checking his right knee. Del Pino, it was his left leg. Watch him right at the end. He grabbed for the left leg in the hamstring area.
And they both depart. 3rd and 5. And Gary alongside Everett, who's in the spread formation. Up in the pocket is Everett. Pass complete. Flag on the play. Price was the receiver. The flag back around Everett, and that probably is going to be against the 49ers for roughing the passer.
It could be against the Rams for holding because Joe Milinchek.
Offense, number 61, 10-yard penalty, Repeat the down. Third down.
You're right.
61 is Bern Brostek. He's right there, the center. And you see they got that eagle look. He's playing against 96 Dennis Brown. Brown gets by him, and he grabs him and takes him down. He grabs that left shoulder. That was a takedown. Had he used better footwork, he wouldn't have put himself in that position. He opened up that lane for Dennis Brown.
Tim Harris is back on 3rd and 15. And goes into rush the passer and chases Everett out of the pocket. And Everett's going to take off. Won't get the first down. Don Griffin made the stop.
And Tim Harris is mad about that one. He knew he had a sack. Because if you don't worry about a quarterback running, then you will take an inside move. And you'll see Tim Harris right at the left of the screen. You see him take that inside move on Jackie Slater and then dive right there and not come up with it. If you don't think the quarterback is going to move out of there, you're more likely to take an inside move on a tackle. If you think he's going to move out, then you have to stay outside that tackle and keep containment.
Alan Grant back deep. Harold Bracken's punt spins away from one Ram, but not all the Rams. Kevin Green takes him down. No return yardage, but a lot of running. 49ers by 3. Great interconference matchup next week between Philadelphia and Kansas City, the co-leaders of their respective divisions. Marty Schottenheimer's got the Chiefs off to another 3-1 start. They have the best defense in the AFC. They're the second highest scoring team in the conference, and they lead the league in turnover ratio. Next week, a big test against the Eagles here on CBS. Waters, the ball carrier. Dances to the outside. Larry Kelm made the stop. Robert Del Pino is being taken off for x-rays. Injured on that run, to his left knee. Tim Harris was injured on the same play, but he was back on the next series of defensive downs. 2nd and 8. Waters got 2. This is a guy who has a lot of fun playing the game.
Yeah, I tell you, it drives Pierce Holt and Kevin Fagan crazy. They watch him and say, I've never had fun playing like he does. He's always laughing and playing. I don't know where it comes from. I'd like to do that.
2nd down, Young to throw. Batted down. Boutte. That's his 7th bat down of the year.
You know, if you look at Steve Young and where he threw, you know, he threw most of his passes in here to the left. 7 out of 9. His one deep pass to the left was here complete. He hasn't thrown any yet in the middle of the field. And over to the right, he's just 1 for 1 and 1 for 2 deep. So that's what Steve Young, I think, always has to watch out for, that you don't just get left-handed in your passing game.
So it's 3rd and 8. Rice comes wide to the left. Gerard inside. Odessa Turner wide right. Pass to Rice. And he fights for enough yardage to get a 49er first down. Stopped and wrapped up by Newman.
That's why Jerry Rice is a tough guy, because he's a marked man. And when he gets a ball and he goes inside, there's going to be some collisions. And you see all the guys, I know all the Rams have that thing. Okay, when Rice comes in there, everyone get a hat on him. And does that ball draw a crowd, especially when it's in number 80's hand? Then he has to take that helmet off and check that thing. You know, he's already had 2 concussions this year.
On first down, Young throw. Sherrod. Talked about collisions and concussions. Can you imagine playing this game with a helmet like that?
Well, yeah, you can, because with a helmet like that, you're always trying to protect that face. So you never use the helmet as a weapon. There was no face mask on there to protect the ugliness, and so you never used it. You always kept it out of there. I think now with those big helmets and face masks, they tend to use them more.
It's Nelson. What an athlete. He's our stage manager. But it pulls well. Young going deep. Incomplete. Intended for Rice. Rice hoping and asking for a flag. Bailey was the defender back with him.
Jerry Rice started to complain about interference before the ball even hit the ground. See, it was a stop and go. Bailey didn't go at all for the stop. He got his right hand up there, and that's what Rice is complaining about. You know, if you get your right hand in there, get a hand on a guy, just make the motion that you're running. They'll call it incidental contact. But what you're really doing is throwing that guy off stride. That's street move.
What Rice was complaining about. He didn't go for the stop at all. Rathman hammers for a first down. Down to the Ram 45. Newman came up with the tackle with an assist for Robinson.
Yeah, we were talking to Ricky Waters yesterday. He was saying how much Tom Rathman has helped him. That, you know, that he's a real positive guy. I mean, he does everything. He'll run with the ball if we see him on a trap here. He'll block, he'll catch, and he's a real team player. I mean, he's as happy when Ricky Waters makes a gain or a catch as he is when he does it himself.
And one thing he won't do, certainly not very often, is fumble.
No, and he won't go backwards either.
That's right.
And he always has one of those things you call a stinger.
Rice behind the block. Swings back to the inside. Waters came out to block. Rice took it back underneath.
I tell you, well, then, you know, you're asking for it, too. I mean, those are tough guys. Those are instincts. I mean, that's kind of going to be a thing. And they just get the ball out here, and he runs back into the big old 315-pound tackle, Sean Gilbert. I mean, when you're number 80 and you catch a little slant in there and you look for number 90 on their team and he weighs 320 pounds, you really don't care.
Bill Hawkins was shaken up a bit for the Rams on the last play, just departed.
But, you know, the great ones do that. I mean, that's the guy who ran into Sean Gilbert there. He just picked him out, and Rice hit him right between the 9 and the O. But you know who else will do that? Gary Clark to the Redskins.
Oh, sure.
I mean, he'll catch the ball on the sideline and go back and find the action.
Rams showing blitz at the line of scrimmage. Waters gets hit hard by Kevin Green. Got 4 yards. Boutte with an assist.
Well, those are the two big defensive rookie tackles in there. And as Chuck Knox says, these are the guys we're going to build our team on or build our defense on. Number 96 is Mark Boutte. He's a 300-pound defensive tackle. Number 90 is Sean Gilbert there. He's the third player chosen in the entire draft.
And he's a roomful. I mean, he's a big guy.
He doesn't have any skin left.
No. 3rd and 2. Rathman runs right into it. And that's not a battle he's going to win. No game.
Yeah, and it's hard to influence a rookie. And you watch Guy McIntyre, the left guard. He's right here. He's going to try and influence this guy. Now, he doesn't go for it. You see, he starts out here, and he just goes, and you see McIntyre backs up, and Sean just takes him, just pushes him right in the backfield. You can't get underneath him like that. There's nothing there. I thought McIntyre was trying to get him to go someplace, and Sean Gilbert didn't go anyplace except straight into him.
Clear victory for Gilbert. Klaus Wilmsmeyer back to punt. Vernon Turner alone for the Rams. Back to flag on the play. Ooh. They might have taken too much time, and that punt had time to land and bounce, and it went out of bounds at about the 1 yard line. But they'll bring it back. Make him do it again.
Anthony Newman, number 26, there is looking to the sideline. Of course you're going to make him do it again.
Delay offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
I don't know why you have to look on the sideline. I saw Mike Ditka earlier today was mad at Jim Harbaugh for calling an audible on his own, throwing an interception. But Chuck Knox can't be bad. Can't be bad for turning one down that goes out to the 1-yard line.
Wilkes-Meyer again a good kick. They signal fair catch, but the 49ers will down it at about the 6. So they got about the length of that penalty, but they did get a little breathing room. Odessa Turner batted it backward. .4:59 left to play in the third quarter. The 49ers 10, the Rams 7. Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Pat Summerall with John Madden. A very warm day. 1st and 10 for the Rams at their own 6. Lang and Gary were the 2 running backs. Very little for Cleveland Gary.
Now the 49er defense really plugged up the middle. I mean, Gary was trying to make a cut, and he slipped trying to make a cut, but there was just no place to cut. It'd be a little frustrating for the Rams. They've done well when they've had the ball, but this is only the 5th time today they've had the ball. This is only the 5th possession.
They lost a yard, 2nd and 11. Be careful here. Outside to Gary. A little room outside the 11. Don Griffin made the stop. Everett to Gary got 6 yards.
Gary was telling us last night that that's one thing he wants to do more of is catch the football. He said that when he was in college, he was a good receiver, and he came to the Rams and wanted to be a running back and receiver, and they've never used him as a receiver.
He does have huge hands.
And, he's always enjoyed that part of it, and maybe that's one thing that the Rams have gotten away from.
3rd and 6. Everett out of the shotgun. Quick pass to Price. And that gets the Rams the 1st down, wrapped up by Romanowski. But that gives them a little bit more room. Whitmore with an assist.
Yeah, this is the most confident that I've seen Jim Everett in 3 years. We remember when Joe Montana was the quarterback of the 80s, and there was talk that Jim Everett was going to be the quarterback of the 90s, and he's kind of been in a 2-year slump. And I'm not saying that he's out of it now, but when you're 12 for 12, you're getting close to getting out of something, because this isn't a bad defense he's playing against either.
That'll do a world of good for your confidence. Numbers like that. 3 minutes left, third quarter. Everett back to Gary. That's not going much of anywhere. In fact, a loss. Stopped by DeLong. -1.
Yeah, we were talking to Cleveland Gary, and he said he used to hold the ball like this. You see, where he didn't put the tips of his fingers over the ball, and then he would swing the ball, and then the defenders would knock it out. So he had fumble problems. He said now there are 3 pressure points, and you have to get the ball on the 3 pressure points. And what happens is, here's one. You have to have your hand over the tip of the ball. You have to have the ball along your arm here, and then you have to cinch it up into what they call the wing. So these are the 3 pressure points here. And if the ball's not in those 3 points, then boom, the defenders will just knock it out. And Cleveland Gary said if there's anything he's learned, it's that.
Kevin Fagan, the injured 49er. They lead by 3. There's Kevin Fagan, who they tell us just got the wind knocked out of him. There's Romanowski, who was also in the same collision over on the sideline. Gary the lone setback, 2nd and 11, and Everett back to throw. Pass incomplete, no flags. Henry Ellard was the intended receiver. That's his first incompletion.
Well, you know, the Rams throw timing patterns. And here the ball is going to be thrown before Ellard breaks. Now Ellard is looking like he's faking like he's going up. Then boom, he's going to cut it off to an out or a comeback. Everett threw the out before he broke, and Ellard just slipped down.
So he's 12 out of 13 now. And it's 3rd and about 11. Everett has his man Willie Anderson open for a 1st down. Merton Hanks made the stop. It's But a 16-yard gain, and they'll move the chains.
And you talk about a cushion. Look at Merton Hanks, number 36, how much off he is, or how big a cushion he gives. He gives about a 10-yard cushion. Then he starts to go back. He buys the out. And he has way too much respect for Flipper Anderson.
Flipper, of course, has great speed, but not that much. The word on Del Pino, by the way, is he has possible ligament damage, and he definitely will not be back today. Lang has taken his place, and the handoff goes to Gary. Cleveland Gary to the 40. 4-yard gain by Cleveland Gary. A minute and 20 seconds left to play in the third quarter. 10-7. The 49ers lead it.
I'll tell you one thing, Everett has had excellent pass protection today. He's only been sacked one time. He's hurried 4 times. In other words, where he threw the ball where he wasn't ready yet. Has not been knocked down, and that's the key. I mean, Jim Everett, he throws the ball so quickly, you're not going to get a lot of sacks anyway, but you have to knock him down. The 49ers haven't knocked him down yet.
2nd and 6. That's Gary again. He's got a lot of room this time. Cleveland Gary to the 49er 25. Finally stopped by Dana Hall. A run of 35 yards by Gary.
I'll tell you, Cleveland Gary, if he had speed, this would have been a touchdown. This was almost a perfect play. They get everything blocked here. He bounces to the outside. Now, once he gets to the outside, there's no one left here. If he can run, look, he's past the defense. He should be able to outrun him. Romanowski almost catches him. They catch up and pin him and turn him in there. But if he had real speed, he would have just went right down that sideline, and no one would have touched him.
Well, you saw that huge pad he had on his shin earlier from being kicked there. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The 49ers 10, the Rams 7.
You know, David Lang got the first block that helped Cleveland Gary. But I'll tell you, anytime you're going to get a big run, a wide receiver has to block. Watch Henry Ellard up there on top, number 80. See, Gary breaks through there. Boom, right there up on top. Ellard gets 2 guys, and that's what gives Gary that corner. If you look at any long run over 10 yards, I'll guarantee, well, I won't guarantee, but I'll say there's going to be a block by a wide receiver involved.
First down there. Everett back to throw it. Maybe. Flag on the play as Everett scrambles, throws back across, incomplete. Headed for Vernon Turner. But a flag thrown earlier.
I think Jim Everett was upset, probably because he knew there was going to be a penalty called against his team, or someone ran the wrong pattern, or didn't help him when he started to scramble. Well, I think when they get there and you get a holding penalty, I think you have to put him back, even though it was an incomplete pass.
Offense, number 64, 10-yard penalty.
Gerald Perry.
Pardon me, 66.
Oh.
Repeat the down, first down.
Was not Gerald Perry.
No, it was on Tom Newberry, number 66, the left guard. See right there at the bottom, they said he grabbed an ankle. I don't know, that looks like a real picky call to me. Newberry was just beaten, he was on the ground, and just, when you get beaten and you're on the ground, you're an offensive, you just start grabbing grass or anything.
Cleveland Gary behind Everett, it's still first down. Draw play to Gary. Well, Gary back to about the 23, wrapped up by Dana Hall after a gain of 12.
This isn't a bad play. It's still first down. I think first down or second down is a good play good down to run a draw on. Third down, it's kind of a give up when you run a draw. But after a penalty, that is an excellent time to run a draw. And I'll tell you, we talked about the offensive line protected well today and blocked well today of the Rams. Their receivers have also blocked well today.
Another good block by Ellard that time. 2nd and 9. Ellard split wide left. Anderson and Price to the right. Gary again. This time, not much room. Kevin Fagan and Ted Washington made the stop. He got a yard.
You know, Fagan's a real battler who just plays his guy. There's different ways to play. I mean, you play a running back, a quarterback. Fagan goes in and just plays the guy that's blocking him. And he says that's all that he can concentrate on. He can't think about the quarterback, the other team, the coach, the crowd, anything. He said, I get so intense, man, it's just me and that guy that I'm playing against.
And he's had 8 knee operations.
That makes it a little harder to do.
Yes, it does. Everett gets it out to Anderson. That's about a yard short of the first down. It looks. David Whitmore knocked him out.
You do a good job of picking up this stunt. You're going to see Fagan coming to the inside, 75. Newberry is going to come off and cut him right there. Watch that. Just boom. He just chops him right down there. The 49ers are trying to run stunts on Everett. They're doing a good job of it, but Everett's still getting the ball off.
Zendejas with Mike Pagel holding will try a 34-yard field goal to tie the score. It's 4 out of 8.
Knox probably doesn't want to have to do this, but he has to do this.
Zendejas ties it. Will return to Candlestick Park after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Yeah, I tell you, the big play on that third down was David Whitmore, and you're going to see him. Flipper Anderson comes across right here. Boom, he catches that pass. But watch number 41. If he lets him gain another half a yard, that's a first down, and they're still playing. By knocking him out there, the Rams had to kick the field goal.
Mark Logan returning for the 49ers. The kickoff by Zendejas, downed at about the 16 by Leon White.
Hey, it looked like it was down by John Johnson, number 55. It looked like he ran into his own man there. Let's just see if he's coming here. Johnson's looking for someone to block, and boom, yeah. He did. He ran right into his own guy. That's tough. You're supposed to look at different colored jerseys. Johnson saying, where did that come from? You know, just a couple weeks ago, John Johnson was the starting outside linebacker before DeLong came back as a starter for the 49ers.
1st and 10, San Francisco. Young back to throw on first down. That's going to be out of bounds, incomplete. Mike Sherrard was the intended receiver. Bailey was the defender.
Yeah, if you look at the total yards, Rathman and Waters, the 2 running backs, have 146 yards. The rest of the team only 83. So that means either Steve Young is looking that way more, or Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, is calling more of those plays, or the Rams are letting them have the short underneath stuff.
2nd and 10. Young has the pass picked off by Robert Bailey. Bailey ran touchdown. Young never saw him, and the Rams take the lead over the 49ers, heavily favored.
Steve Young looked way too long. He was trying to hit Jerry Rice with it. Bailey was right there. Bailey was with him. He was trying to force the ball to Rice. That's the problem. You watch Rice here. Here's Bailey. He comes up. He pumps, he pumps, he pumps, and he tried to force it in there. There was no way that ball should have been thrown to Jerry Rice. Of course, it wasn't. It was thrown to Robert Bailey. But I'll tell you, he looked at Jerry Rice all the way, and he pumped to him, and then finally threw it to him. That was what you call a force job.
And so quickly the Rams take the lead. 24-yard touchdown by Robert Bailey. Zendejas for the extra point. Pagel holding. The Rams, 17-10. Talk about your surprises. That's the first turnover by either team today.
Did you see Steve Young? He looked all the way.
Sure.
He pumped to him once. That brought Bailey a little closer. Pumped to him again. That brought Bailey even closer. Then the third time he threw to him, Baylor was right in front of Jerry Rice.
And so the Rams take the lead by 7 with 12.5 minutes left to play. Back at Candlestick Park, the Rams just scored to take the lead 17-10. They're about to kick off. 12.5 minutes left to play in this contest unless we go to overtime. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Jim Everett congratulating Robert Bailey, who just kept sneaking up and finally got the interception and the run for the touchdown.
That has to be a big thing for Robert Bailey. You know, a second-year corner. There you have to cover Jerry Rice, and then you cover him, and he doesn't catch many. And then you intercept one that's thrown to him. That's a big day.
Zendejas kick to Ant Lee. Lee trips up at the 20. Sammy Lilly make sure he stayed down.
Yeah, here's Jerry Rice here, and he's just going to run a pattern here. Here's Robert Bailey here. But if you look when Young goes back here, that he pumps, and then throws. And if you watch what happens, every time he goes to pump, Bailey comes a little closer. See the pump here, that stops him. Then the second pump, see it brings him up a little closer, and then look at the throw. He's right there. That was a bad decision in forcing it, but you can't, you just keep bringing Bailey closer and closer and closer.
Ricky Waters, the lone setback. Jamie Williams in motion. Young back to throw. Slip one time. Incomplete. Intended for Sherrod. Jerry Rice. And Darrell Henley was a defender.
And the fans are booing. And again, you know, you get that from trying to force the ball. And the one thing the 49ers have done here today, Pat, is they've given the Rams confidence. But when the Rams came in here last night, they didn't have any confidence.
None.
When they came out here in the pregame, they had no confidence. But I'll tell you, they have gotten it during the game. And the 49ers are trying to get their group back into the game. They know it.
To Waters, nothing doing. That was on second down. Gilbert, the big rookie, on top.
You know, and this is still a rivalry game. I mean, you know, the Rams have been down last year. They ended their season losing 10 in a row, and so you don't get the excitement here. But these fans that are here today, if you're from San Francisco or the Bay Area, you don't like Los Angeles. So it may not be the rivalry football game it used to be, but I'll guarantee you there's still a rivalry between San Francisco and Los Angeles.
It is to these people. Over the years, both have had such great teams. Here's Young back to throw. Gets it outside to Rothman, and Rothman tripped and slipped. Didn't get the first down. Sammy Lilly came out with the ball. Kevin Green put the pressure on Young. They don't get the first down. The 49ers will have to punt.
Again, on third down, I've always said that if you're going to take the third down and you're going to pass it, you have to get it up beyond the first down marker. You know, then if you don't, the guys aren't going to break tackles, and it seems like there's more slipping in this game than I remember the two teams slipping on this field.
Wildensmeyer back to punt to Vernon Turner. Another good kick. That's a rocket. Chases Turner back to his own 21-yard line. And he gets out to about the 32. So the Rams, a 59-yard punt, a 10-yard return, 10:37 left to play. Rams by 7. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. The labels say made in the USA, but the machine tools were made in Japan. They wouldn't pull a stunt like that. Oh, yes, they would. And it's all on 60 Minutes tonight. That's followed by Murder, She Wrote, and then it's the CBS Sunday night movie, The Danger of Love. That's no stunt. Everett to Gary. And Cleveland, Gary hammers for a first down and more up close to midfield. Don Griffin. 18 yards for Gary.
I tell you, they ought to give a game ball to this offensive line of the Rams. I mean, they've really done a good job. We talked about the pass protection job they've done, but also on the run blocking for Cleveland Gary. There have been some holes there in those draws. They've had good pass protection. This is an offensive unit that is performing very, very well today.
1st and 10 Rams at their own 49. They lead by a touchdown. Less than 10 minutes left to play. Gary again. Slipped down. Wisely so. Right now for an NFL update, let's send you back to New York with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Pat, at the L.A. Coliseum, the Raiders have pulled even with the Giants. Todd Marinovich to Tim Brown. Mark Collins gambles and doesn't make the play. This is a 68-yard touchdown. They're into the 4th quarter now in Los Angeles. The Raiders and the Giants are tied at 10, Pat.
Here at Candlestick, the Rams lead the 49ers 17-10. 2nd down and 14. Everett back to throw it. Had it to Price, and it's picked off by the 49ers right at midfield. Bounced out of his hands, and DeLong came up with it.
Can't blame that one on Jim Everett. Again, he's had good pass protection all day. He's had time to throw. Throws that one right in there. Just goes right through Jim Price. Bounces off, and DeLong comes up with it.
Turnovers were the key earlier. Turnover by the Rams gives the 49ers good field position. Waters left side. Boucher on the bottom of the pile. Larry Kelm with an assist. Waters got just 2.
Yeah, when you take those 2 rookie defensive tackles of the Rams, and they've been playing pretty well in the middle there. I thought in the games previous to this that teams have taken advantage of them, running in there, but they don't seem the 49ers aren't taking advantage of those 2 rookie defensive tackles today.
Over 600 pounds. Pass was complete to Waters. He got hammered by Anthony Newman. 2 more yards, but he paid the price.
Anthony Newman is one of those guys that will hammer you. He's a strong safety or a weak safety. He plays the whole time. Sometimes they'll put Pat Terrell at free safety. Newman plays strong. Then they'll play Newman at strong and Michael Stewart at strong with Newman at weak. If any of that makes sense. But Newman plays both safeties.
And he will hit you.
Yeah.
3rd down. Young, wide open, Brent Jones. Jones steps over a tackle, gets down to about the 22. Steve Israel finally stopped him after a gain of 23 yards.
That's a blown zone defensive coverage. Watch that there at nickel. The right side goes out to the right, the left side goes out to the left, and there is no one. There is not a Ram defender in the middle of the field. Boy, that's like waking up on your birthday and having a bunch of presents. Brent Jones had never seen a defense like that before.
Where did they come from? Jones again from Young. Another 49er 1st down, stopped by Green this time.
The same thing. Brent Jones isn't even running a pattern, Pat. He's just coming off the line of scrimmage and just stopping right in the middle. Just watch him. He's here in the left of the screen. He just comes right here. Look, he just turns around and stops right there about 10 yards and just stands there, and Steve Young hits him with the ball.
Jones out now. Williams in. 1st and goal from the 8 for the 49ers. Throw it. Pulls it down to a runner. He's got room to score. Steve Young from 8 yards out scores a touchdown.
That's what a good team does. You give them life. They get the turnover. It all started with a turnover. Then take a boom, boom, boom. As I say, you give him a window. That's a lane. That's the window. And he sees the end zone and runs right into it.
That was more than a window.
That was a big old barn door.
That was double door. Cofer's extra point ties it at 17. 6:29 left to play. Tie score, Rams and 49ers.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by AT&T. We want you back. Levi's new loose-fitting jeans. And by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
Tied at 17 as Cofer gets ready to kick off. 5 plays, 49 yards. The 49ers went to tie it. And as John Madden said, they got the turnover and they took advantage of it. Vernon Turner back deep for the Rams. Cofer's kick. Really short. Turner at the 5. Out of bounds at about the 26.5-yard line. Merton Hanks. 22-yard return. Jim Everett has had the hot hand. And the ball most of the time, which is what the Rams wanted to do. Young just scored on that 8-yard touchdown run.
And I think the thing that the Rams ought to think of now, with the score tied, 6 minutes to go, you don't think of scoring right now. What you think of is eating up some time and getting first downs. The most important thing to the Rams right now are getting first down. 49ers stopping them from getting first down.
The handoff is to Gary. And Gary is stopped by Kevin Fagan.
Yeah, Gary doesn't look like he's real confident in his footing now, and it is a tough footing down there. The grass has been tough, and now you're playing in the infield dirt. And it looks like he's trying to stay under control too much. And he's not cutting anything loose, and he's standing in one place too long. And in the NFL, if you stand in one place too long, a whole bunch of bad guys are going to be there in a second.
And sometimes that concentration on holding the ball in those pressure points, trying not to fumble, can affect your running style.
Sometimes you can think of too many things and do nothing natural.
Everett. Pass complete to Price. He lost the ball, and the 49ers come up with it. Johnny Jackson made the recovery. It is the 49er ball.
And that's the second time for Jim Price. We know that he has a bad shoulder. Maybe the harness. He catches this one, and he's going to fumble it just as they get hit. You see, he gets stripped from behind. The ball gets knocked out of there. On the series before that, he was the guy that the ball came off of, an interception. So 2 passes to Jim Price, 2 turnovers for the 49ers.
Whitmore came in and stripped the ball.
Okay, David Whitmore has made some big plays today. He was the guy that tackled Flipper Anderson, made the Rams go for a field goal, and he just stripped Jim Price on that one.
49er first down, just in their own territory. Waters cut down after a little bit of the gain, stays on his feet, and he fought for about 7 yards.
Well, Waters is bringing some life there.
Well, he's a lively guy.
Well, he's an enjoyable guy. He has 2 tattoos. He has a Panther tattoo on his arm and one on his leg. I think when you wear tattoos on your arms and leg, you got to run like that. I mean, you can't wear a tattoo and run in there sideways.
Less than 5 minutes left to play. Both teams with all their timeouts left. High score at 17. Young gives again to Waters. Should have it up for a first down, stopped by Kelm. 6-yard pickup. George Seifert took over from Bill Walsh. I don't think he gets enough credit.
No, I don't either, because, you know, I mean, he's going to live in Bill Walsh's shadow for a long time. And Bill Walsh was a great coach. George Seifert's a very good coach, too. And the job that he's done since Bill Walsh left, I think, has been outstanding.
Young pulls it down, comes back out, going to take off. And he could do that. Steve Young. Touchdown, 49ers. Amazing. Does that remind you of a few years ago on a stumbling, staggering run by that same guy against Minnesota?
Against the Minnesota Vikings, and you ought to learn now with Steve Young, you can't assume anything. The Ram defense assumed that he was going to go out of bounds, and he cut right back against the grain.
For the extra point. Topher is good, and the 49ers again have the lead. 39-yard touchdown run by Young.
Let's watch his touchdown again. It starts out as a pass, but anytime Steve Young goes back to pass, it could end up in a great run like this. Watch him. He finds the opening here. Now, you think he's going to go out of bounds here. He cuts back in here. Now watch him cut back again. Watch 37, Pat Terrell. He was sure he was going to go outside. He got him caught with one leg in the air because most quarterbacks, 99% of the quarterbacks will just go out of bounds. Watch this cut, though. He says out of bounds, baloney. I'm going back inside. There's not many quarterbacks that ever played the game that do a lot of cutting back in.
Not that well. Steve Young puts the 49ers back ahead. Vernon Turner got some room outside the 30. Turnovers, and it's been so for years. They'll kill you.
Well, you know, if you look at those San Francisco 14 points, those were in the last 5 minutes. And they were both to the same guy. I mean, the first time Everett throws one to Price, it bounces off him, intercepted, boom, the 49ers go in and score. Second time he throws one to Price right down the seam, he fumbles, boom, the 49ers get the ball. So that's 14 quick points off the turnovers.
Just when the Rams looked so confident. 3:45 left to play now. The 49ers by touchdown. Everett outside to Ellard. Ellard ducks underneath Merton. Hanks got 8 yards.
I think that they can do that for a while until the 49ers change their defense. If they're going to lay off like that, then you can keep hitting in front of them, especially Merton Hanks. He looks like he's too worried about that deep stuff.
Cleveland Gary straight ahead to the 49er 42. Stopped by the two safety men, Hall and Whitmore. 18 yards for Gary. He's got 110 yards. The Rams hurry up. Everett back to throw it. Gets it outside of Gary. Gary skips out of bounds inside the 30. Knocked out by Eric Davis.
You know, I don't think the Rams have to worry about time yet because they have plenty of time. I think that's what Chuck Knox is just telling. We have plenty of time because there's 2 minutes, 53 seconds, which really means they have 4 timeouts because they have all 3 timeouts left, plus they're going to get a timeout at the 2-minute warning. So maybe, if anything, if you're going for a tie, you may be thinking of running time off the clock rather than hurrying up.
2nd and 7. Everett making himself heard over the noise. Gets the ball across the middle. Picks Jeff Chadwick. Chadwick gets a first down for the Rams at the 49er 24. Again, it's the two safety men who make the stop.
You see Jeff Chadwick run that time, Pat. He was going to go down, and he wasn't going to get stripped from the ball. He ran down. In fact, I think he may have hurt himself as he did it. But he just kind of just dove himself right into the ground so that no one could strip him from behind. Watch him. He's coming here. He's not going to let anyone take that ball. Look, he just goes down. Boom. He's going to get down there and protect the ball, and no one's going to get it. That's what a 10-year veteran will do, but even though he hurt himself.
The battles of October begin Tuesday night after this memorable battle here at Candlestick. Last year's division winners, the Pittsburgh Pirates and Atlanta Braves, meet once again to determine the National League champions. Coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern Time. And then on Wednesday evening, the American League Championship Series starts with the Oakland Athletics battle the Toronto Blue Jays, beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. That's the battles of October this week on CBS Sports. Another battle in October here at Candlestick. Early October. Jim Everett's had a hot day for the Rams. So has Steve Young for the 49ers.
These two quarterbacks have been fun to watch today. And Everett, you see 18 out of 20 and that one interception. He sure as heck doesn't deserve that.
No, he doesn't.
Jeff Chadwick is still down. He was the receiver, remember, that made that catch in the first down, and looked like he was just protecting himself when he got down there and hurt his back in doing so.
See it again.
You see right here, he knew that's as far as he's going to get. There's 3 defenders there, and then he just got rolled over. Looks like they're checking his back.
Might have been that he rolled on the ball. It might have been that he got a knee in the back.
I'll tell you, he knew one thing after watching Jim Price catch that one and have it stripped. Chadwick knew one thing. He was not going to have that ball stripped. In fact, it's not his back. It's his right knee.
Leg, yeah. Used to be with the Lions. Good possession receiver, always has been.
You know, the Rams have an interesting decision here. I mean, they have to decide now. You don't know what's going to happen, but do you go for the win or the tie? If you're going for a tie, you take time off the clock, just try and get the score, kick the extra point, you got to tie. If you're going for the win, you want to score quickly, tie it up, go for an onside kick, get the ball back, and go for the win, which I don't know that Chuck Knox is going to do that.
We got to get the tie first. That's upmost in his mind. Everett slips but has time. The throw incomplete. Intended for Aaron Cox. Well covered. Everett really had no chance. And now as Chadwick made it to the sideline, they are paying more attention to his left leg and his back now.
Yeah, it could be the back. They're trying to stretch that out and see where the problem is. I didn't even know they had tables like that down in the sideline. That one looks like it's been there for a number of years.
Second down and 10. Everett back to throw. Roll right. Pass is deflected and finally caught by Henry Ellard after the rebound. Johnny Jackson got his hand on it, and Ellard still came down with it.
You know, that was an organized roll, Pat. You don't see that very often, but if you look, they're going to block the tight end over on this side. Everett's going to come out here and roll. You see Price blocking here to give him a corner. Everett is mostly a drop back passer. Here they blocked. They got him a corner out there so he could move the pocket and get out here and throw the ball.
2 minutes left to play. The deflection, Jackson actually got a lot of the ball, but Ellard still managed to come down with it. 2 minutes left. 24-17 49ers. Next Sunday, the currently undefeated Philadelphia Eagles take on the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Randall Cunningham is back. He's the #1 rated quarterback in football. He's got 2 of the best receivers in the NFL. Fred Barnett included. Herschel Walker's 4th in rushing in the NFC, and the defense is #1. The Eagles and the Chiefs next Sunday on CBS. Right now, the Rams and 49ers on CBS. Everett back to throw. Blitz coming. Everett incomplete. Intended for Price, and he is really hit. Shoulder harness and all.
I think Everett has to watch out that he doesn't try and, force things in here. They got to get someone open. This one here was good coverage by the 49ers, although That again was a good throw by Everett. I think Price has that problem with that shoulder and that harness and trying to keep everything in.
Jeff Chadwick, they're taking him in for x-rays right now. He has a lower back contusion. Second down, sorry. Second and goal from the 9. Everett back to throw it. Shuffles. Touchdown, Rams. Willie Anderson. Flipper came up with it. I just lost the ball for a while.
That was a heck of a throw. I think you lost it because he threw it so hard. You talk about not forcing it. Jim Everett zipped that thing in there to Flipper Anderson between two defenders right at the back of the end zone. I'll tell you, he really throws this. It's just going to be to the left of the goalpost there. Watch him look, step out there, and boom, put that thing in right down there.
Wow.
Either Flipper Anderson is going to catch it or it's incomplete.
For the extra point, Zendejas, and we are tied at 24. 24-24.
I tell you, did he gun that thing in there, and he threw that low hard one, as they talk in baseball, that low fastball. Watch him, he's going to move to this side a little, so that's going to give him a little more velocity, but watch this thing come in here.
That was his 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
That is an all-pro throw. Ends up with a cloud of dust. Woo.
Everett, 20 out of 24. Today's game was produced by Bob Stinner. And look at this.
That's an all-pro throw.
Speaking of all-pros, the game, as I said, produced by Bob Stinner, directed by Sandy Grossman. Coordinating producer of the NFL Today is Eric Mann. The NFL Today was directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. Zendejas with his dance before he kicks it. Grant back deep. Lets it bounce. He better handle it, and he does. One minute, 50 seconds left to play. Score tied at 24. The Rams have 2 timeouts left. The 49ers have all theirs, all 3.
Hey, I've been impressed, you know, with that with Jim Everett. I mean, I think that he's been in that slump like we talked about, but he's coming out of that. But doggone, you have to give credit to that offensive line.
Don't you though?
They really have taken over this game of the 49er defense.
Young to throw it. Someone jumped in front of him. He's going deep for Rice. Incomplete. Just out of his reach, but good coverage by the Rams. Terrell and Israel.
I think that they know one thing. If you have Jerry Rice there, you better give him a cushion. It's that stop and go. It's the second time that they've run that stop and go today. And you see here, they have double coverage. They got him short. They got him long. But if that ball was just a hair short of that, would have been a completion anyway.
Rice comes wide to the right. 2nd and 10. Sherrod left along with Waters. Young back to throw it. Gets it out to Rathman. And Rathman scurries out of bounds at the 25. Israel's helped him scurry out. 1:37 on the game clock. Clock stopped right there.
I think that was a bad play by Rathman. As a fullback, Rathman should have turned that thing up or cut it back. He doesn't have to stop the clock. Because, again, the 49ers have all 3 timeouts left, so they need yardage. And he could have made that a short yardage instead of 3rd and 5. I'm surprised that he ran out of bounds on that one.
It brings up a 3rd and 4 situation. The 49ers at their own 26. High score, 24-24. Rice left. Waters comes in motion to the right, and Young goes back to throw it. And the pass is complete to Brent Jones. Jones stopped finally by Newman, but that got him just about in field goal range. A gain of 42. Brent Jones with another big catch.
Well, I tell you, that's the one that they needed. You see, here he is right here. He's just going to come straight up the middle. And again, the Rams are worried so much about those outside receivers. If you look here, they're leaving that middle open. If we can stop it right here, we see that they have 2 defenders here, 2 here, and nothing here in the middle. And the 49ers have really been taking advantage of that middle, usually shorter, but that time they took the same idea and went deep with it. Watch number 61, Jesse Sapullo here, the center. He's a personal protector. If anyone breaks loose, boom, you pick him off your quarterback. He picked Sean Gilbert off that time.
Jones has 89 key yards on his completions. Kofor starting to get loose. 4 receptions for the tight end, Brent Jones.
You know, and it's the one thing, if you look, the Ram defense today, that they were going to give away, they gave away that middle to the tight end. You know, right now, if you look, it would be a 48-yard field goal for Kofor. I don't think Kofor would feel comfortable here, nor would any of the fans, because not only that, but he's kicking from the dirt.
He'd be on the infield dirt in the baseball stadium. Here's Waters. Well, he doesn't get much. Just used up some time. 1-yard pickup. Ram defenders did a good job. Kevin Green. Clock stopped at 1:08.
Yeah, I would think to feel comfortable, I would think that the 49ers need another 10 yards. What you would really like to do would be to get up there to about the 10-yard line if you don't score a touchdown, so that your kicker can kick the ball off the grass. Because if you're back, if you're outside the 20-yard line, your kicker is going to have to spot and kick the ball off the infield dirt. So what you would like to do, see if you're on the 20 here, he's going to be 7 yards deep. The holder, see, here's the 20, and the holder would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He would be 7. The ball would be here. So he has to get a couple of yards in front of that 20-yard line to be able to kick off a grass. And those are the things that kickers think about, too.
Absolutely. You have time. He went and got a towel, Mike Kofor did. I'm not sure exactly why.
Because your palms start sweating.
But he didn't dry them.
Maybe he sneaked a dry. He's going to sneak a dry in a minute if they don't get another 15 or 20 yards or a touchdown.
2nd and 10. Here's Young to throw it. There for Rice, who's open with a step, and he got the ball. Made the catch at the 5, one-handed. Lilly was the defender. 26-yard gain.
That's why Jerry Rice is Jerry Rice. You don't have to worry about dirt infields and Kofor kicking from the infield. Good pass protection, good throw by Steve Young, and watch this catch by Jerry Rice. We talk about all-pro throws. There was an all-pro catch.
Out of bounds at the 5. The 49ers have a first down there. 5 receptions for 57 yards for Rice. First down and goal at the 5. A minute left. Waters tripped up at about the 4. He saw some room. Stewart tripped him up.
And now the Rams are taking time out, and I think that's smart because they got to save some time. Watch number 23, Michael Stewart. He's going to come over and just trip him up right there. That was a big tackle. The Rams have to be thinking times out. They have to be thinking turnovers down here. And they have to be thinking if they're going to score, let's get the ball back so we have a shot at them.
That's their last timeout, however. Watch this catch.
Watch that right hand. I mean, Jerry Rice has gigantic hands anyway. With the coordination between his body and his hands and judgment and catching the ball are just outstanding. You know, it doesn't happen that way by accident. We were at practice yesterday, and they have a left-handed equipment man. And as the defense was practicing and all the other offensive guys were standing around, Jerry Rice was catching pass after pass after pass from the left-handed equipment man.
And now he's catching pass after pass from a left-handed quarterback, Steve Young, who scored 2 touchdowns.
Who gets paid $2.5 million. $2.5 million more than a left-handed equipment man. That's an expensive package. I mean, that's Steve Young to Jerry Rice. There's a whole lot of zeros in that package.
2nd down and 4. Water to the 3. Larry Kelm made the stop. The clock continues to run. Rams out of timeouts. Excuse me, John. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's an interesting decision here. The 49ers, I think, have to throw this ball on 3rd down. Because I would throw it on 3rd down and try and get the touchdown. If not, kick the field goal. I wouldn't run this play.
Well, with Steve Young, you never know.
And with Steve Young, a throw could very well turn into a run.
They're letting the clock run down. Now 12 seconds. Here comes Kofer.
They're going to kick it on 3rd down.
In the event there might be a bad snap, they'd still have a timeout left, and perhaps they'd still have a couple of seconds left. If they can get all that done in 5 seconds. Here comes Kofer now.
You know, one thing a lot of people think when you kick it on 3rd down, and if you miss it, you get it to do it over again on 4th down. Of course, that's not true. If you miss the ball, then that's change of possession. This game is either going to be won right now by the 49ers, or we're going into overtime.
This game is presented by authority of the National Football League. This CBS telecast intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the San Francisco 49ers, and the National Football League is prohibited. .21-yard field goal attempt by Kofer. Bono holding. Kick is up. Kick is good. One second left on the clock.
You talk about remembering the Steve Young play here. 1 second left on the clock means that the 49ers have to kick off. And how about the other play that happened in the Bay Area here, that Cal Stanford play? On that kickoff where they started to...
Through the band?
Yeah, lateral the ball. The band was on the field.
Steve Young able to take advantage of 2 turnovers by the Rams. An interception, which wasn't Jim Everett's fault, and a fumble. And they got points quickly and got themselves back into the ball game.
That's what they would do. Every time they would get down, boom, they would just come right back. I think the 49ers are a heck of a team. Jim Everett had a great day today. If the 49ers have to worry about anything, it's maybe Everett got that confidence back. That guy to his right there brushing back his hair is Ted Palmer, who is the quarterback coach. Chuck Knox hired him, brought him in this year just to work with Jim Everett, help restore that confidence. And he had it today.
1 second left, and Kofer to kick it off. We'll see what happens. They bounce the kickoff. And Pat Carter throws it backwards. Another lateral. Another lateral. A bat. A scramble. A rodeo. And a gun. Once again, the final score here at Candlestick Park. The San Francisco 49ers 27, the Rams 24. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show. Greg and Terry will have all the scores and highlights. You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. And right now, let's send you back to New York. First, our score is 27-24. San Francisco wins.
Pat Summerall, thank you very much. The 49ers win at 27-24. They now go to 4-1 on the year. There's a minute 48 to play in the Giants-Raiders game. The Raiders lead it by 3. Let's send you to Vern Lundquist and Dan Fouts in Los Angeles.
Handoff for the Raiders. Steve Smith goes left on second down. We welcome those of you who've been watching the 49er Los Angeles Ram ball game. We have 1:42 remaining in this game. The Raiders in quest of win number 1 in 1992. They have scored 13 unanswered points in the second half. The Raiders leading by 3. The Rams fell to the 49ers 27-24 in that game up at Candlestick to maintain leadership in the division. Howie Long had his first sack today, but it's been all Los Angeles here in the second half, Dan.
Yeah, and now the Raiders need just about 4 yards to salt this one away. If they can pick up a first down, the Giants will be unable to stop the clock. 3rd and 3 coming up. But, you know, it's interesting that the 2 plays that the Raiders have used on this drive coming off the 3-yard line have been the old Raiders staple, running left behind the left guard Wisniewski and Wilkerson. Not too many years ago, that left guard was Upshaw, and that left tackle was head coach Art Shell.
Art Shell looking for his and the team's first win of the season, and it would break an 8-game losing streak. Ray Handley trying to get his team to 2-2. It's 3rd and 3 with 1:42 remaining. Marinovich will throw it. He has a man open. And the Giants will have to use their final timeout. Andrew Glover and Todd Marinovich, best of friends. And an upset, Ray Handley.
Well, nothing to do now but to go in and take a shower, get on the bus, get on a plane, and fly home. This one's over.
Handley's Giants had a 10-0 halftime edge. The Raiders cut it to 10-3, and then the biggest play of the second half. A touchdown pass from Todd Marinovich to Tim Brown, 68 yards. It went as Mark Collins had the interception in his hands, lost control of the ball. Brown got it, broke a couple of tackles. That tied it at 10. And then Jeff Jager, a career-best 54-yard field goal, has provided the difference of 13-10.
All Marinovich has to do now is secure the snap from center and kneel down. But remember, he did fumble a snap from center earlier in the game, moments after injuring his left hand on the helmet of Steve Wisniewski. So there's no guaranteed thing here. But it looks pretty good for the silver and black.
Giants dominated the first half, led 10-0, had a 1st and goal at the 1 with a minute to go, but had to use their timeouts and settled for an 18-yard field goal when it appeared they would be in for the touchdown. Here's Marinovich falling down. The clock cannot be stopped. Those of you who just joined us, let's look back at the winning touchdown. Marinovich to Tim Brown.
Might have been intercepted right there by Collins, but the ball went right over his fingertips, and Brown takes it down the sideline for a touchdown. Game of inches. Could have been a touchdown for the Giants if Collins intercepted, but Tim Brown made the grab.
Out last week with a hamstring injury, and he caught that pass in the 3rd quarter. That tied it at 10. And then Jeff Jager's 54-yard field goal provided the margin of difference that now sits at 3. And the Raiders call timeout.
Well, you talk about a strange timeout call. Why would you stop the clock in this instance? Let the clock, if you're worried about the clock running down, let it go down and take the 5-yard penalty and line up in the huddle and do it again. But don't stop the clock. Every second counts. If he were to fumble one of these snaps, Giants could have it in field goal range.
Joe Pisarcik somewhere is looking on thinking about that. And so is Herman Edwards, for that matter. And so is Larry Zonka, for that matter.
So are a few Giant fans.
They remember it well. That was an Eagle victory over the Giants back in the 70s that happened that way. Here's Marinovich with the snap, and he's down. Streak is over. Streak continues. Art Shell and the Los Angeles Raiders come from behind and defeat Ray Handley and the New York Giants by a count of 13-10. Jager and Barr. So for Dan Fouts, this is Vern Lundquist saying so long from the LA Coliseum. Our final score, 13-10, the Raiders. Coming up next is 60 Minutes, except on the West Coast and the Mountain Time Zone. Next Sunday, NFL action continues here on CBS. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL Today. And be sure to join us Tuesday night for Game 1 of the National League Championship Series at 8:30 Eastern Time. Final score again, 13-10. Greg and Terry will be back with you after this message. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.